million followers. I have that. More followers, right? But I want you to work for me for free. I mean, I have 2 million followers. When I post your stuff, people are going to see it. They're going to like it. I mean, you might get referrals, yeah? So on today's episode, we're talking about exposure payments. My name is Helen, and this is Memoir of a Naija Girl. I have with me Folami and Emir. And you know, Emir is in the industry. Folami is also a HR guy, and he knows everything that goes on in the media. And of course, you know me now. Me, I'm the host. I just have to sit down and be asking questions. So, how useful is exposure payment to aspire freelancers? Does it help them, or is it just a cliche? Who wants to go first? Emir.
Well, it's a two-way thing. Exposure payment for... I'm not comfortable with the term aspiring freelancers. I should just say startup.
Right.
Because at that point, you are beginning to secure your position in the industry. You are, and you need to let people build trust in what you can offer. Okay. Particularly Nollywood, Yoruba. So I'll be specific because that is where you are. So let me share my experience. Maybe that will help well.
Right.
I started Emiralty Africa in 2015. So when I started, because it's about PR and content development for Yoruba actors and marketers, it was so hard at that time because that's the era where new media advancement began, and Nollywood Yoruba people, they were late to the party.
Right.
That's why you see that most English actors have more followers on social media than Yoruba actors because they were late to the party. So it was so hard for me to convince them that let's do this on your social media pages, let's build your platform, let's do that. No, because they didn't buy the idea, and I felt, okay, don't give me money yet. See what I can do. No, I used Emiralty Africa brand to as a bridge between them and
the new media.
The wider audience, home and abroad. No, by the time they started getting messages, calls that I watched your movie. Now the feedback mechanism, I worked on it for them mostly when they release movies. So at that time, they were getting the attention they didn't feel would come. So, but when I was doing it, I did it for let me build trust, let them be familiar with my brand. So it took me over 18 months, yes, before I sat down, went back to the boardroom, like, okay, now let me add value to the services I'm rendering. Because I realized that in a week, about 4 marketers would call me. Top actors would call me, Emir, please, I need you to draft content. I want to do press conference. Emir, for my movie I'm releasing next week, let's do something, create a script for skits that would... And then realize, okay, so these people now know that my content are special, my captions for their posts, that it got to a point, an actor would send me a message 2 a.m. that, Emir, please, I need caption for this picture. I want to post it in the morning. Okay, so I went to the boardroom. Okay, per caption 5,000 naira for if I'm pushing you on other social media platforms for a week, so amount. So I started giving them. So people didn't buy into this. Emir, you are our person now. You can't work like that again. No. Till date, there is a particular actor I manage. Then we are not working together till date because it was the first person I did the freelance thing for. Okay, you are my friend, my brother, let's build together. By the time the money start coming, you get, when you start getting jobs as an actor, you would revisit the payment plan and all that. But with the time I approached him, okay, so person, money is coming now, I'm seeing everything. Okay, let's do this on a monthly basis. It changed.
But that works for you, right? Because you try to, okay, I'm going to bring you people, introduce you to a larger audience, yeah. And in return, you would come back and there will be a value on my brand, for my brand. So that means the whole exposure payment that you did without collecting a dime, it's paying off now.
Yes, it's paying off.
I think that strategy would only work if you're having the mindset that, okay, I'm just starting up and I need to find my feet, basically. So here's where I'm driving at. Even if you're just starting up and you decide, okay, for the next 2-3 years, I'm not taking up any clientele, right? But consistently churning out content, consistently churning out creations, allowing yourself be seen, allowing yourself be visible. Trust me, I don't think you will take up to 3 years before somebody comes knocking on your door to say, I want to pay you to do so and so for me, which is part of what he's saying. But does it really help you as a person on the long run? Financial wise, maybe yes. Financial wise, maybe yes. But in terms of your long-term strategy, before you start fielding calls from feedbacks of creation content you've created, you had a strategy that, okay, so for this period of time, I'm not taking up any clients. So there's something, that stopgap flow causes a break in your strategy, and it's easy for you to derail when your strategy is impeded, when your strategy is disturbed. It's very easy for you to derail, and that derailment comes when maybe your first contract or your first project you're executing is giving you, say, 15 million naira in
Are you trying to say that the whole exposure payment to you is a cliche?
I feel it's a cliche. This is why. If you're paying me for exposure, or if you're providing exposure for me because you have a larger audience, it is more of you as the brand being visible. It's because basically I'm at the background, and you are the one at the foreground of everything that is being seen. So, like you said, somebody will call him up 2 a.m. in the morning, create caption for me for this so picture, I want to post it. Who knows that you are actually the one creating that caption? Nobody does. Nobody does. So in that aspect, what value is that post actually doing to you?
Your brand.
To your brand, aside the fact that it is monetary. And of course, we all understand that business is more than financial gains.
But sometimes we have ghostwriters, for example. Ghostwriters, they are always behind the scene. I think that works.
Even ghostwriters and ghost producers and ghost content creators, yes, it works. You will find that strategy would work better with more known and established brands. Because here's the reason why. I'm creating a content for maybe one of the top brewing firms in the country. I don't want to mention names, but this firm can afford to pay me whatever amount I call. They can afford to give me a carte blanche, an open check. So of course, if I give them an open check and they pay in that same open check scheme, if they say they are not going to put my name on it, who am I to object? Of course, they've paid for me to keep quiet that I created this for them. Do you understand? So yeah, exposure payment is more of a cliche. It doesn't really help. I'm arguing, or I'm speaking basically in the defense now. It doesn't really help the brands that are up and coming. It more helps the brands that are already out there, that already have the 2 million followers. If me as a freelance writer now or freelance content creator now, I say, okay, so Dio and Johnson's is a known brand, and then he wants to engage my services in creating the content for him. Of course I'll do it because it's going to pay me, because I'm an up and coming person. The little money he will pay me there and then would help me, but it would help him more because, like it or not, people who are up and coming, they have a way of tapping more into their creativity than people who are more established.
Yeah.
You know? So when that happens, in actual sense, exposure payment is helping more of the established brands than the people that are up and coming.
But then why is it that this just, many years ago, I don't think it was a trend, but all of a sudden it became a trend. Why is it that? Why is it like that?
Well, for Nollywood, that's where I'll be pointing my analysis at.
Which
for
is
Nollywood, they feel, okay, we have 3 categories of actors: the A-list, the B-list, and the up-and-coming. So the B-list and up-and-coming and A-list, they feel they have arrived, that whatever they are doing with you, they are doing you a favor. So it now depends on how you package your services to them. Okay, even if you don't want to pay the exact amount, okay, do this to cover logistics, then I would be waiting for credit whenever you put up the content. Okay, so thing recorded by this. So let's say for an actor that has 4 million followers, if the actor posts and puts Emiralty Africa as the source of the content, obviously I should have nothing less than 2,000 followers that week, and then some new followers will be on the lookout for my brand, like, hey, let's see what this person can offer, if we can do business with him subsequently. And some will be bold enough to come to my DM and say, okay, I came to your DM because I saw your handle on so person's page. So it's just like that. It works.
Okay, yeah.
You see, the problem is that mindset that I have arrived. In actual sense, for any brand, for any business brand, you never arrive. You never arrive.
Like,
in fact,
the best time to do more is when you're at the top.
Yeah.
Thank you. In fact, the likes of the bigger brands, the top brands in brewery, in smartphones, and all of them, they are consistently and continuously improving their visibility and innovations to create more content awareness for people about their brands. So you never arrive. So for our own actors to feel that much, I'm saying this because I have someone close to me who is actually in the same industry as Emir is now. Now I see him. This is someone who has toiled almost about 10 years as an independent production person. Creating his own content and flying to different locations just to get content and then just to push it out there. And then I still see people who come to him like, do this thing for me now, I'll just pay for logistics, or I'll just give you credits. How does that put food on my table?
Emia, you had a point when we talked about Mr. Macaroni. He made mention of pay actors well, upcoming or A-list actors, treat them the same way. And then you said something quite controversial, I must say. Can you just explain that to us?
Well, let me go to the root of this matter. For Nollywood Yoruba, they produce film with average budget of 700,000 and 900,000 naira. So
that's nothing.
That's the root. That's what we are going to.
Okay.
That's what we are going to. So in the movie, let's say they have to use 5 top cast main characters. So they would have 1 A-list actor, 1 B-list actor who will be the supporting lead. Mm-hmm. So the other 3 can either be the producer. We have a producer who is an up-and-coming actor, and the other 2 will just be
doubling.
So A-list actor would collect, let's say, 150,000-200,000 naira from the budget of 700,000. B-list, they might give him 80 or 100. So they shoot between 3 and 5 days. Hotel money, feeding money from this same 700,000 naira. So the other up and coming actors in that production, they are going home with nothing. So they are paying them with exposure. That we are giving you opportunity to act 2 scenes, 3 scenes.
Is that also a
wait? It is now more bad that most of these up and coming actors will even have to pay for their hotel money.
Okay, so in human resources, there is something that we term as knowing your value, right? Knowing your value basically means know what you are bringing to the table. If you approach me as a director, and
I'll still finish what I'm saying. I know, I have where I'm going.
If you approach me as a director and say you have this shoot to do, and then this is the budget you're having for the shoot, but at the end of the shoot, I'm only going to be paying you with exposure. I have the right to tell you, okay, exposure, no, they put money for my table. I am not going to do it. I am not going to. No, hold up. That's why I say. I have the right to say I am not going to do this for exposure, even if it is as little as 50,000 naira. Give me something. If you're giving me 50,000 naira and exposure, at least I know I'm making some monetary gains from the project that you're executing, which is all well and good, because 50,000 naira will do something, and then the exposure also, maybe on the long run, will do something. But if you're paying me with just exposure, I have the right to say no. Now, the value chain begins, or the value appreciation begins, when people who are up and coming begin to say no to paying with exposure.
Okay, Folami, let's quickly take a very short break. We'll be right back. We are back, guys. We're talking about exposure payment, and I still have with me Emir and Folami. Now, Emir, what you were saying?
Well, taking it up from Mr. Macaroni's advocacy, he has actually mentioned something that is right, and that irrespective of the category of the actor, pay that person, even if it is 2,000 naira. Pay that person. And then going back to the issue of production budgets, I still feel that production managers should find a way, because this money might not be, how do I put it? It might not be much, but at least it's something that these people see value in my service.
Right.
Okay, let me just take this for a start, and then I can build more on negotiation strength later. I just feel they should pay people. But if it is for exposure, it now depends on the creative to see what is ahead. Okay, if you're offering me exposure, let me see, is your brand reliable enough? Your platform, is it reliable enough for me? It's okay, let me give it a try.
But 2,000 naira, as you said, it doesn't put food on the table.
It doesn't
do anything.
I think you only mentioned 2,000 naira.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, whatever it is, if I'm working for exposure, how do I feed? How do I take care of my loved ones? How do I even take care of myself?
I think you need to define the reason why you're working right from the onset before you even jump on any project. Yeah, because if you are going to jump on the project for exposure or for the promise of exposure, you should know you are doing it for the promise of exposure. But you would do such projects to an extent that exposure means nothing to you anymore. That at that particular point where exposure means nothing to you, you need to start recouping financial gains from your
It means nothing to me now. That's why I'm calling them out. I call them out. If you come to my DM and say, Emir, now my movie, I'm not even posting it. I will
Baba, pay something.
No, me, I will not even ask them to pay. I ignore. They will not. They will cover.
So the moment you realize that you've gone past the level of I am working for exposure, I need to start working for financial gains. Then you start looking out for such opportunities that would help you attain to what you're actually looking for. Until you make that realization. Yeah.
Emir, you mentioned a few weeks ago your tweet, it says you spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on a movie. You pay director, actors, and other crew members, yet you approach publicists for free jobs. As per friendship level now, are you wicked?
Well, actually, that's the trend now. Among producers,
that's wrong.
They feel their Instagram numbers is enough for them to push their movie. So for those who feel okay, they still need a publicist to push for them. And because we are friends, we say, Emir, please, my movie will be out on Monday. Please help me repost. I will now reply there. If you don't know the right thing to do,
it doesn't translate.
Help me repost. If I'm reposting for you at that moment without discussing payments, it means we must have done businesses before. So my old time client. Okay.
Especially sometimes when people would say, "Oh, do this free job for me," but when they are paying, they go somewhere else.
They go somewhere. That's another thing, because.
I think
you just brought a memory now.
I think
Share with us.
Do you want to share?
Share with us.
Okay. I was working with an actor then, and we do things. And at that point where he was growing, I already had friends in several media houses. Some of whom we left school together, and they were already practicing. I'll just call Femi Joe, actor me, koba mi she story corner. What's it news?
Yeah.
I'll call another blogger. How far now? My actor is attending one award event, to just please help me focus on him. When we have let's say AMVC and my actor is going there, I would have gone ahead of him, meet the media guys on the red carpet. The ones I would tip 2K, the ones 5K. My actor is coming, just be focused. So when the actor now wanted to do a movie project, proper project, he got funding from, I don't know where he got it from. So I just saw that he started doing meetings with a bigger PR firm. So he was doing meeting with them, and he would come to me on WhatsApp to give me updates.
Forget not the days of thy humble beginnings.
That project, so person, my hands are tied. I actually told the financier that Emiralty said, no problem, we'll work. But along the line, I packed out of the project. No, I can't do this. When you had nothing, we were pushing it. I called my friends. They did stories for you. If they had charged me then, do you know how much you will be paying for each story and all that? Well, I packed out, and he did the project. The big PR firm actually handled. They submitted. I saw how much the collectors more.
A big money, but if not free one.
I know, but because the PR firm had name.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. So when they have a bigger project, they will see that they'll feel we are too small for that project because you have rendered free services. So they feel you might run away, or the money is too big for you.
So sometimes, do you think if you charge low, you are somehow killing your own value as a brand? Sometimes.
No, charging low is not actually the appropriate time. No.
Charge realistically.
Yes, like look at the project. Look at what you can offer, your deliverable, what you can. A friend of mine a few days ago, she almost lost a deal. She's a publicist too, because she charged about 4 or 5 million naira. I still have the conversation.